Howdy folks, this is Jared of Fluty Homestead, and today we're going to be tedding some hay. You can see behind me here, we've got all our hay cut, and this hay has been drying a day longer than my other fields. I didn't get it all cut the same day. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to flip this over. I tried to ted, if I cut early enough in the day, I'll ted that the same evening, and if I don't, well then the next day I'll come and I'll ted it. And sometimes I've tedded it twice, but a lot of times one time is enough, except for if you can see out here around the edges, it stays kind of shady and it's really thick. So I have to most time ted it twice. And then whenever I get to raking, a lot of times I'll rake it up into the sun a little more. But we're going to ted all this up, and I may not even fool with tedding this high side, because let me flip the camera around here, I'll show. This is up here, this is end is really thin, so this hay is crispy already. You can see when I bend it over, it's got a crunch to it. So I could bale this right now. Hear that snap? This end of the field is always pretty thin, and I need to fertilize it, and I plan to this year. But you can hear that crunch, and it's still, I mean, it ain't like a powder dry, but it's perfect for baling now. But down in the bottom here is really thick. So I'm going to ted all this and let the sun hit it this evening, and tomorrow probably start baling it. So I'm going to get my tedder all lined out and ready to roll. Alright, we're going to grease this thing up, and the oil level is good in my gearbox. It takes 90 weight gear oil. But I've got to grease up all these U-joints and these bearings and all this. So we're going to give them all a couple good shots of grease. That's the life of your equipment, is taking care of it. Greasing and oiling. And I ain't no mechanic, but I try to do what I can. Let's see, there's a grease fitting somewhere. I'll have to rotate that around. The hay baler is what takes much grease. There's grease fittings. There's probably 50 grease fittings on my hay baler. Okay, I'm going to flip this U-joint around and grease it, and then we'll be ready to hook this thing up. And the first pass. Now I'm coming back and I'm putting it over into it again. And we'll do the same thing next to it. Then if I get into the thin end of the field, I'll take and put it in, like where it's kind of thin right here, I'll rake this up into another row. That way I ain't got to make so many trips with the baler. I'd rather make more trips with the rake than I would the baler. If you ever run a baler, you'll know why too. This is an old International 35 rake. It still does a good job. This row over here I'll probably bale last because it's been under these trees and it always is the last bit to dry. That's a nice big windrow there.